This video was brought to you by Tom and Toys and Comics.
I swear to God I thought this movie was a fever dream.
Oh my!
Do you guys remember Unstable Fables? Actually, let me go back to that. I want you to go all the way back to your self-conscious. I want you to go back to when you were a child and you're walking around the video store or Walmart and you came across this DVD. Or at least one of these. Don't act like you've ever seen these DVDs before. Every kid in the early 2000s has. And it was in every video store or Walmart you can think of. And some of us were unfortunate to either buy or rent one of these DVDs. I miss my childhood so much, don't I? Okay, so what is Unstable Fables? Well, if we're going to talk about these movies, we need to talk about the Weinstein Company. Okay, calm down. This isn't about Harvey Weinstein. This is just about the company. So just settle down. I swear, people get so offended in this day and age. So yeah, Unstable Fables was produced by the Weinstein Company, with the help of Jim Henson Pictures. But why does Unstable Fables exist? Well, it's pretty simple. Once upon a time, there was a film called Shrek. And it was a massive hit when it came out with both critics and audiences. It was a merchandising legend. And what happens when Hollywood finds the next big thing? Why, they start ripping it off, of course. Thus, every animated company was trying to rip off Shrek, or at least take inspiration from it. And one of the more bigger influencers was the Weinstein Company. And their last attempt to fill up this trend was Unstable Fables. They already did it with Hoodwinked and Dougal, so of course they had to give it one more shot. But instead of being released in theaters, these are released on DVD, which explains the weird box office things which I can't find any information on. So these were mostly direct to DVD. So today, I'm just going to give you guys my opinions on these three films. Now, if you do like these movies, that is fine. Just understand that this is just my silly personal opinion. With that said, let's get started. So our first movie on the list is Three Pigs and a Baby. Scolding hot take here, Three Pigs and a Baby is not that bad. It's not good, it's just okay to say the least. There are some good, genuine ideas here. In fact, I actually do like the idea to this premise. Three pigs find a baby wolf, and then the wolves try to blow the pig's houses down. Not a bad idea for a concept, but there are some things that keep it away from making it great. The plot makes no sense. Like, there are some plot points that don't make sense, like where did the baby wolf come from, and how many years did it take for them to spy on the pigs and stuff like that. Also, the designs on the wolf look pretty uncanny. Like, their noses look very uncomfortably weird looking. But aside from that, Three Pigs and a Baby is pretty passable. I do like the relationship between the three pigs. I like the voice acting, and some of the humor can get a laugh in there despite some very uncomfortable jokes. Yeah, there's a lot of bad toilet humor in this, especially with babies involved. But other than that, Three Pigs and a Baby is pretty passable. Is it good? Not really, but it's really not that bad. So in a strange way, I kinda do recommend it, though it's not for everybody. If you want to see the Three Little Pigs and the Baby, that's exactly what you're gonna get. Wait a minute. Steve Zahn as a pig? Why does that sound familiar? Our next movie on the list is Tortoise vs. Hare. Now, in my opinion, I didn't find this one as good or funny as Three Pigs and a Baby. It's not awful or anything, which I could see how some people would say that this is probably the better of these movies, but personally, it's not very good to me, and it's not as good as Three Pigs. Though much like Three Pigs, it's not a bad idea. It's a revenge story, basically, and it's about the tortoise and the hare going on this huge race, kind of like in the original fairy tale. Kind of a weird take, honestly. Though there is a couple things I do like. One is the relationship between the tortoise and the hare's kids and the relationship between the main characters. It's got some genuinely good moments. And I will say, out of all these movies, this one is the better looking. Like, I do like some of the landscapes. Although average and kind of dated, they look pretty nice. And the character designs aren't that bad. But Tortoise and the Hare suffers from really bad pacing. And the pacing, when you have really bad pacing, it kind of bores you. It's going to get boring. And Tortoise versus Hare wasn't awful. It just wasn't funny or interesting. Though there are some good concepts and ideas here, much like Three Pigs and a Baby. Everything seems to be fine here. It's just not very good. Not the worst, it's just kind of boring to me. If you like it, that's fine. It's just not my thing. Though, I say skip this one if you haven't seen it already. Aww. Do I really have to do this one? Okay, here we go. So our final film on the list is Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Out of all the movies in the Unstable Fables trilogy, this one is the absolute worst. Everything about this movie just seems like a dumb idea from the start. Like, maybe there is potential for a parody of Goldilocks, but I could think of a few other ideas you could have done with this. But you went with the most boring, simplest, stupidest idea with it. Goldilocks and the Three Bears is a reality show. I mean, there's potential. I could see maybe there's potential, but there's just nothing there. The biggest problem for the movie was the main character. Not because she's voiced by Jamie Lynn Spears. Don't get me wrong, she's a good actress and she can do good stuff. But she is very unlikable in this. Every character in this is unlikable. It's very mean-spirited. The jokes in this are so bad. I barely laughed at all, and some of it is very juvenile and boring. Also, just like the other movies, the pacing is very bad, and it's very slow and tedious. I could care less about every single character in this. Like I said, and the reality show stuff was very cliched and very stupid. Even the climax and ending was just kind of dumb. I was just tired of watching it once the movie ended. So, yeah, this is probably the worst one out of all these in the trilogy. If you like it, power to you, man, but for me, I say I'm gonna get off of this show for a while. So, overall, guys, everything about this series is just baffling to me because there is so much talent with these movies. I feel bad, and it's not just the celebrities I feel bad about. I feel about the writers, the directors, the producers that worked on this. There was a lot of talent into these, but their ideas and scripts were poorly executed, which is kind of a shame because I would have loved to see what other ideas this company would have had with these movies, but we won't be able to see that anymore, so there's that. Of course, in 2017 or 18, the Weinstein company shut down, so there's no way we'll see any more of these anytime soon. Though it is good to look back on and just how cheesy and stupid these movies were. I mean, they're not good, especially Goldilocks and the Bears, which I really hated, but they're good to look back on, and I'm probably one of the very few people that actually remembers these movies, so that's pretty crazy. So while I don't recommend most of these movies, I do recommend them just to see how bad or how so bad it's good they are. And that is the tragedy of Unstable Fables. But seriously, Steve Zahn plays two pig characters in movies? What is this, a crossover episode or something?